Your soulmate is about to meet you at this place, the location is. Don't scroll, listen to this, because this message is for you, and your heart needs this right now in a way you may not be able to explain yet. There is a reason your attention stopped here, a reason your chest feels a little tight or unexpectedly calm, like something inside you just whispered, pay attention. Listen to this. This isn't about fear, and it's not about rushing, it's about recognition. Your life has been quietly preparing you for a meeting that doesn't arrive with noise or spectacle, but with a deep sense of, oh, this feels familiar. Don't scroll, your heart needs this right now, because the universe doesn't waste moments, and it doesn't bring awareness to someone who isn't ready to receive it. You've been through seasons where love felt confusing, delayed, or just out of reach, and during those seasons you learned how to stand on your own 2 feet, how to sit with silence, how to heal without applause. Listen to this, that wasn't punishment, that was preparation. You didn't grow numb, you grew precise. You didn't stop believing, you learned how to believe without desperation. And now, something is aligning. Not far away, not someday, but close enough that you can almost feel it in your routine. Don't scroll, this message is for you, because the place where this meeting happens isn't exotic or dramatic, and that's what makes it sacred. It's a place woven into your real life, a place you move through when you're not trying to be anything other than yourself. Listen to this, your heart needs this right now. Destiny doesn't always show up when you're searching for it, it shows up when you're present. That's why the signs have been subtle. That's why you've been seeing repeating numbers when you're just living your day, 111 when you're thinking about a new chapter, 222 when you're questioning timing, 444 when you're craving stability, 555 when change feels close but not chaotic. Don't scroll, those aren't coincidences, they're confirmations that alignment is happening in the background while you're focused on becoming. Listen to this, you weren't meant to meet this person in chaos. You weren't meant to meet them while you were still trying to prove your worth or overextend your energy. You were meant to meet them when your nervous system learned peace, when your standards became clear, when your intuition grew louder than your fear. Don't scroll, your heart needs this right now, because the location is connected to your authenticity, not your performance. It's somewhere you go when you're not thinking about being seen, somewhere you feel neutral or even comfortable, somewhere your guard is naturally down. Listen to this, when you arrive there, nothing dramatic has to happen. No fireworks. No instant declarations. Just a pause. A glance that lingers a second longer than usual. A conversation that feels unexpectedly easy. A moment where time seems to slow down just enough for you to notice your own breath. Don't scroll, this message is for you. Because your body will recognize alignment before your mind tries to analyze it. Calm is the signal. Ease is the sign. Peace is how the universe says this matters. Listen to this, you've been guided toward this place without realizing it. Through routines you kept even when everything else changed. Through paths you walked again and again because they felt familiar. Through choices that felt small but were actually intentional. Don't scroll, your heart needs this right now. Because nothing about this meeting is rushed, and nothing about it is late. Timing isn't about speed, it's about readiness. And you are ready in a way you weren't before. You're ready to recognize connection without chasing it. You're ready to receive without shrinking. You're ready to stay grounded even when curiosity sparks. Listen to this. This isn't about predicting an outcome or forcing meaning onto a moment. It's about awareness. It's about noticing when something feels aligned instead of exciting for the wrong reasons. Don't scroll. This message is for you, because the universe has been teaching you how to trust what feels steady rather than what feels intense. That lesson matters now. When this meeting happens, it won't feel like pressure. It won't feel like confusion. It will feel like clarity arriving quietly. Like something clicking into place without effort. Like your life saying, "This fits here." Listen to this. Your heart needs this right now, because you may have wondered if your season of healing made you too careful, too selective, too slow. It didn't. It made you discerning. It made you capable of recognizing what's real when it appears. Don't scroll. This message is for you, because the place where destiny meets you is connected to who you are now, not who you used to be. It's connected to the version of you who values consistency, honesty, and emotional safety. The version of you who doesn't confuse chaos with chemistry. The version of you who knows that love doesn't require self-abandonment. Listen to this. Angel numbers will keep showing up not to pressure you, but to reassure you. To remind you that you're supported while things unfold. To let you know that even when nothing obvious is happening, something meaningful is aligning. Don't scroll. Your heart needs this right now, because this meeting isn't meant to disrupt your peace. It's meant to complement it. It won't pull you out of your life, it will step into it naturally. You won't need to search for signs after it happens. You'll feel it in your body, in the way your shoulders relax, in the way your thoughts quiet, in the way the moment doesn't demand anything from you. Listen to this. This is how destiny feels when it arrives through alignment rather than urgency. And as you move through your days, keep living. Keep showing up where you already are. Keep honoring your routines, your joy, your rest. Don't scroll. This message is for you, because the universe meets you in the ordinary when your heart is ready for the extraordinary. The location isn't about geography, it's about presence. And when that moment comes, you won't feel like you found something you were missing, you'll feel like something that belonged finally arrived right where you already were. Listen to this carefully, because what's unfolding now isn't loud or dramatic, but it's real in a way your soul recognizes instantly, and your heart needs this right now even if your mind is still catching up. Don't scroll, breathe, and notice how something in you softens when you consider the idea that destiny doesn't always arrive with announcements, but often slips into your life through moments you almost overlook. You've been moving through your days with a new kind of awareness lately, not searching, not chasing, just present, and that presence is exactly what has been recalibrating your path. The universe responds to honesty of energy, not effort, and you've been honest in the quietest ways, by choosing rest when you were tired, by walking away from what felt off even when it was tempting, by listening to your body when it asked for peace. Listen to this, those choices matter. They change where and how alignment can meet you. You may notice that the place connected to this meeting keeps appearing in your routine without demanding attention. It's somewhere you pass through when you're focused on living rather than proving anything. Somewhere you don't put on a performance. Somewhere you're just you. That's intentional. The universe doesn't bring real connection into spaces where you're armored, it brings it where you're authentic. Don't scroll, this message is for you. Because authenticity is the location, and the physical place simply reflects it. You've been sensing signs not as commands, but as gentle confirmations. Angel numbers show up when you're grounded rather than anxious. 111 when a new chapter feels possible, 222 when patience steadies you, 333 when growth is happening quietly, 444 when foundations are being laid, 555 when change hums beneath the surface without disrupting your calm. Listen to this, these aren't countdowns or warnings. They're reassurance that you're aligned enough to notice. The meeting itself won't feel like a lightning strike. It will feel like recognition settling into your body. A moment where your shoulders drop instead of tensing. A conversation that flows without effort. A pause where time feels slightly rearranged, not stopped, just gentler. Don't scroll, your heart needs this right now. Because you've learned the difference between excitement that agitates and connection that steadies. In the past, intensity may have felt like destiny, but it came with confusion, mixed signals, and self-doubt. This time, destiny feels quieter. It doesn't ask you to abandon yourself. It doesn't demand certainty on the spot. It allows curiosity to exist without pressure. Listen to this, your nervous system has been trained for this moment. All that healing you did wasn't to make you independent forever, it was to make you capable of receiving connection without losing yourself. That's why the universe waited until your inner world felt safe enough to hold something real. Don't scroll, this message is for you. Because the place where this meeting happens is connected to safety, not spectacle. It's where your energy is neutral, balanced, open. That's where recognition can land without overwhelming you. You might feel an intuitive pause there, like a subtle notice this. You might feel drawn to look up instead of down. You might feel present in your body in a way that's hard to describe. Listen to this, your body is part of the guidance. It knows when something aligns. It doesn't panic, it relaxes. That's the signal. Not butterflies that make you dizzy, but calm curiosity that makes you attentive. Don't scroll, your heart needs this right now. Because you've questioned whether being more careful meant missing out. It doesn't. It means you're finally available for something that doesn't require chaos to feel alive. The universe doesn't rush meetings that are meant to last, it arranges them so they feel natural, almost inevitable in hindsight. You may later realize how many small decisions led you to that place at that time. The errand you almost skipped, the routine you kept, the moment you chose presence over distraction. None of it was random. Listen to this, timing isn't about speed, it's about coherence. And your life has been moving toward coherence for a while now. You're no longer split between what you want and what you accept. You're no longer negotiating your boundaries to keep something going. That clarity creates a clean landing space for connection. Don't scroll, this message is for you, because when this meeting happens, you won't need to label it immediately. You won't need to predict the future or attach meaning too quickly. The universe doesn't require you to decide everything at once. It invites you to notice, to stay present, to let understanding unfold naturally. Listen to this, real alignment doesn't create urgency, it creates steadiness. It doesn't pull you out of your life, it steps into it. You'll feel yourself remain grounded even as curiosity sparks. You'll feel like you can be yourself without editing. That's how you'll know you're in the right place at the right time. Don't scroll. Your heart needs this right now, because you may have wondered if your story was taking too long to turn a corner. It wasn't. It was deepening. And depth changes the quality of what can meet you. The universe hasn't been withholding, it's been refining. As you move through your days, keep doing what you're doing, living, noticing, choosing presence over pressure. The signs will continue to appear softly, not to rush you, but to remind you that alignment is happening where you already are. And when recognition arrives, it won't feel like something you chased down. It will feel like something that arrived because you finally made space for it by being exactly who you are. There is a reason your awareness feels heightened right now, like your senses are tuned just a little more finely than before, and it's not because something loud is about to happen, but because something meaningful is close enough to be felt. Listen to this carefully, because your heart needs this right now even if your mind wants to stay skeptical. You've reached a season where your life is no longer being shaped by reaction, but by intention. That didn't come easily. It came from all the moments when you chose to slow down instead of rushing toward answers, when you trusted your inner signals instead of overriding them, when you let certain doors stay closed even though curiosity tempted you to push them open. Those choices mattered more than you know. They didn't just protect you, they positioned you. The universe responds to consistency of energy, and yours has stabilized. You're no longer oscillating between hope and doubt the way you once did. There's a steadiness in you now, a grounded presence that allows things to approach without resistance. That's why the idea of this meeting doesn't feel dramatic or anxiety-inducing. It feels calm, almost obvious in a way that surprises you. You may have noticed that your days have taken on a different texture lately. Small moments feel more vivid. Ordinary places feel slightly charged, like they're holding something you haven't named yet. You're more present in your body, more aware of your surroundings, less lost in your thoughts. This is not coincidence. This is what happens when your inner and outer worlds begin to synchronize. The place connected to this meeting isn't special because of how it looks, it's special because of how you show up there. It's where you're not performing, not scanning for approval, not bracing for disappointment. It's where you're just living. Running an errand, doing your work, taking a break, moving through your routine with a quiet sense of self-trust. That's where alignment can land without startling you. The universe doesn't introduce meaningful connection in spaces where you're armored. It chooses spaces where your energy is neutral, open, and grounded. You may feel an intuitive pause when you're there, a subtle awareness that asks you to look up instead of down, to be present instead of distracted. Nothing supernatural, nothing overwhelming, just a sense of attention sharpening. Your body plays a role in this. It always has. You've learned to listen to it now. When something aligns, your body doesn't tense, it softens. Your breath deepens. Your shoulders drop. That's the signal you've been training yourself to recognize. In the past, attraction may have come with adrenaline, uncertainty, and the need to prove yourself. This time, it comes with steadiness. Curiosity without urgency. Interest without self-abandonment. That's how you'll know you're in the right place at the right time. You won't feel pulled out of your center. You'll feel more fully in it. Angel numbers may continue to appear around this period, not to direct you, but to reflect your alignment. 111 showing up when you feel open to something new. 222 appearing when patience feels necessary but no longer painful. 444 showing itself when your life feels structured and supported. These numbers are not instructions, they're affirmations that your internal state matches the rhythm of what's unfolding. You're not being tested. You're being met. And here's something important to understand. This meeting doesn't require you to do anything differently than you already are. There's no special preparation left, no final transformation needed. You've already done the work that matters. You know your boundaries. You know your values. You know how to pause when something feels off and how to lean in when something feels right. That knowledge lives in your body now, not just your mind. You may notice that your thoughts about the future feel less frantic. You're not trying to predict outcomes or secure guarantees. You're more comfortable letting things reveal themselves in real time. That comfort didn't come from indifference, it came from trust. Trust in yourself. Trust in your ability to handle whatever unfolds. Trust that you don't need to rush to be on time for your own life. This trust is what allows destiny to approach without friction. The universe doesn't compete with your free will, it collaborates with it. When you stop forcing direction, direction becomes clearer. You've also learned that meaningful connection doesn't need to be announced. It can begin with a simple exchange, a shared moment, a conversation that feels easy rather than electric. You don't need to label it immediately. You don't need to decide what it means right away. You're allowed to let understanding grow at its own pace. That patience is not hesitation, it's respect for reality. You've learned that rushing clarity often distorts it, while allowing it to emerge preserves its truth. This meeting will reflect that lesson. It won't ask you to abandon your routine or disrupt your life. It will integrate into it naturally. You'll notice how it fits rather than how it excites. You'll notice how you remain yourself rather than becoming someone else. That's the difference. You may later look back and realize how many small decisions led you there, the errand you almost postponed, the route you kept taking, the habit you maintained. None of those were random. They were part of a pattern you couldn't see while you were inside it. That's how alignment works. It doesn't feel dramatic in the moment, it feels coherent. You're not being pulled towards something unknown. You're being guided towards something that matches who you are now. And if there's a sense of anticipation in you, it's not anxiety. It's readiness. Readiness to notice without chasing. Readiness to receive without losing yourself. Readiness to let something meaningful enter your life without needing to control how it unfolds. That readiness is the real location. The physical place simply mirrors it. As you continue moving through your days, keep honoring the pace that feels natural. Keep listening to your body. Keep choosing presence over distraction. The universe doesn't need you to search harder, it needs you to remain available in the life you're already living. When recognition arrives, it won't feel like something you finally figured out. It will feel like something that quietly made sense all along. There's a deeper awareness moving through you now, and it's not loud or demanding, but it's persistent enough that you can't ignore it, like a gentle current carrying you forward even when you're not consciously steering. Listen to this carefully, because your heart needs this right now, and not in a dramatic way, in a grounding, reassuring way that settles you back into yourself. Don't scroll just yet. You've reached a point where your life is no longer about chasing moments or proving readiness, it's about inhabiting your days with a steadiness that didn't exist before. That steadiness came from all the times you chose to pause instead of react, to reflect instead of repeat, to let go instead of forcing something to stay. Those choices reshaped you. They taught you how to listen to the subtle signals your body sends when something aligns and when something doesn't. You're no longer confused by mixed energy or drawn to uncertainty disguised as excitement. You've learned how to feel the difference between attraction that agitates and connection that calms. This learning is why the idea of this meeting doesn't overwhelm you. It feels close, but not invasive. Possible, but not urgent. You may notice that ordinary places in your life feel slightly more vivid now, as if your attention has sharpened without effort. A familiar environment suddenly feels charged, not with anxiety, but with presence. That's because alignment often enters through what's already part of your routine. The universe doesn't need to pull you far from your life to meet you, it meets you where you're already honest. You've been honest lately, in how you spend your time, in how you protect your energy, in how you choose calm over chaos. That honesty has changed your frequency. It's why you might feel drawn to certain locations without knowing why, or why you feel more aware when you're there, more inclined to look up from your phone, more present in your body. This isn't imagination. It's attunement. You've learned how to be where you are instead of where you think you should be. And when you're truly present, recognition becomes possible. Recognition doesn't announce itself with noise. It arrives as ease. A moment where your breath deepens instead of shortens. A pause where your mind doesn't rush ahead. A conversation that feels natural without effort. You won't need to convince yourself that something matters, your body will already know. In the past, moments of connection may have come with urgency, with a sense that you had to act quickly or risk losing something. That urgency isn't part of this. You've grown beyond it. You're no longer negotiating with your intuition. You trust it. And because you trust it, you don't need to overanalyze what's happening in real time. You can allow things to unfold at a pace that respects your nervous system. This respect is new, and it changes everything. You may also notice how your relationship with time has shifted. You're less impatient, not because you've stopped caring, but because you've stopped equating speed with success. You understand now that rushing clarity often distorts it. You've seen how forcing outcomes can cost you your peace. So you've learned to wait actively, to live fully while allowing understanding to arrive when it's ready. This is why angel numbers may continue to appear in quiet moments, not as instructions, but as reflections. Seeing 111 when a new possibility crosses your mind, 222 when patience steadies you, 444 when your life feels structured and supported, 555 when change hums beneath the surface without disrupting your calm. These moments don't ask you to do anything differently. They simply affirm that your internal rhythm matches the direction you're moving. You're not being pushed toward something unknown, you're being guided toward coherence. The place connected to this meeting isn't special because of how it looks. It's special because of how you feel there. It's where your energy is neutral, balanced, unguarded. It's where you're not trying to impress anyone, not bracing for disappointment, not scanning for meaning. You're just there. And that's where alignment can land without startling you. When the moment comes, it won't feel like destiny crashing into your life. It will feel like something fitting naturally into it. You'll notice how little effort it requires to be yourself. You'll notice how conversation flows without you editing your words. You'll notice how your body remains relaxed instead of tense. These are the signals you've been learning to recognize. They matter more than grand gestures ever could. You're also becoming more comfortable with not needing to label experiences immediately. You don't need to decide what something means the moment it begins. You've learned that meaning reveals itself over time through consistency, not intensity. This patience allows you to stay present without projecting a future onto the moment. It allows curiosity to exist without attachment. This doesn't make you distant, it makes you grounded. And grounding is what allows connection to deepen without overwhelming you. You may reflect on how different this feels from earlier chapters of your life, when attraction felt urgent and confusing, when you questioned your worth or second-guessed your instincts. That version of you did the best they could with what they knew. But you're not there anymore. You've integrated those lessons into how you live now. You're more selective with your energy. You invest in what feels reciprocal. You release what requires you to overextend. These choices have created a clean, stable foundation. And meaningful connections require foundations. They don't thrive in chaos. They thrive in coherence. As you continue moving through your days, you might notice how everything feels slightly more intentional, even when nothing outwardly dramatic is happening. That's alignment at work. It's not about spectacle, it's about fit. You're fitting more comfortably into your own life, and because of that, what fits you can find you without force. You don't need to search for the moment or predict how it will unfold. You don't need to rehearse reactions or imagine outcomes. Your role is to remain present, to continue honoring your pace, to keep listening to your body, and to trust that what aligns with you will meet you where you are. The awareness you're experiencing now isn't pulling you away from your life, it's anchoring you more deeply into it. And when recognition arrives, it won't feel like something you finally earned or unlocked. It will feel like something that made sense, quietly and completely, within the life you've already been living. There is a calm certainty forming within you now, and it feels different from anything you've experienced before, not sharp, not urgent, not overwhelming, but steady, like something finally settling into place after a long season of movement. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now, and not as excitement, but as reassurance. Don't scroll just yet. You've been sensing that your life is no longer pulling you in a dozen directions at once. The chaos that once surrounded your thoughts has softened, and in its place there's a deeper awareness, one that doesn't ask for proof or validation. This awareness grew slowly, shaped by everything you lived through when answers didn't come easily. You learned how to sit with uncertainty without letting it define you. You learned how to trust yourself when clarity was delayed. You learned how to keep your heart open without letting it bleed. Those lessons rewired you. They changed how you move through the world, how you respond to people, how you sense alignment. And because of that, you're now in a position to recognize connection without needing it to announce itself loudly. You might notice that certain places in your life feel more significant lately, not because anything obvious is happening there, but because you are different when you're there. You're more present, more grounded, less guarded. That matters. The universe doesn't place meaningful encounters in spaces where you're bracing for impact. It places them where you're relaxed enough to receive without fear. Don't scroll, listen to this, because this is why the meeting you're moving toward doesn't feel dramatic in your imagination. It feels natural, ordinary, almost understated. And that's exactly how it's meant to feel. In the past, attraction may have come with adrenaline, confusion, or the need to prove yourself. This time, it comes with calm curiosity. You're not scanning for signs to confirm something is real. You're allowing reality to show itself without pressure. That's growth. You've learned how to differentiate between intensity that destabilizes you and connection that steadies you. Your body knows the difference now. It responds to alignment by relaxing, not tightening. Your breath deepens. Your thoughts slow down. Your attention sharpens without anxiety. These signals are subtle, but they're consistent. You've been training yourself to notice them, even when you didn't realize that's what you were doing. Angel numbers may still appear around you, not to instruct you, but to reflect your internal state. You might catch 111 when you feel open to something new without fear. 222 when patience feels supportive instead of heavy. 444 when your life feels structured and safe. 555 when change feels close but not disruptive. These moments aren't meant to be decoded, they're meant to be felt. They mirror the coherence forming between who you are and where you're headed. You're no longer trying to force meaning out of experiences. You're letting meaning reveal itself through consistency. That shift is important. It means you're not rushing to define what hasn't fully arrived yet. You're allowing curiosity to exist without attachment. You're giving yourself permission to enjoy moments without turning them into predictions. This doesn't mean you care less. It means you trust more. You trust yourself to recognize what's real when it's real. You trust timing to unfold without your interference. You trust that what aligns with you doesn't require chasing. This trust didn't come easily. It was built through disappointment, through letting go of connections that couldn't meet you where you were growing, through choosing peace even when part of you still wanted certainty. Those choices strengthened you. They made you someone who can hold connection without losing yourself. That's why the place tied to this meeting feels familiar rather than intimidating. It's part of your real life. It's woven into your routine. It's somewhere you go when you're not trying to be impressive, when you're just existing. That's where authenticity lives. And authenticity is where alignment can land without resistance. You may notice that when you're there, you're more inclined to look around instead of down at your phone, more aware of your surroundings, more present in your body. That presence isn't accidental. It's a signal that you're available, not desperate, not searching, but available. Available to notice. Available to receive. Available to let something unfold naturally. This availability doesn't require effort. It requires honesty. And you've been honest lately, in how you spend your time, in how you protect your energy, in how you walk away from what doesn't feel right. That honesty has created space. You're no longer filling every moment with noise or distraction. You're allowing pauses. And pauses are where recognition happens. When this meeting occurs, it won't demand that you change who you are or rush into decisions. It will integrate into your life quietly. You'll notice how little effort it takes to be yourself. You'll notice how conversation flows without rehearsal. You'll notice how you don't feel the need to impress or over-explain. These are the signs that matter. They tell you that your nervous system feels safe, that your intuition feels clear, that your energy isn't being drained. This is what healthy alignment feels like. It doesn't pull you out of your life, it fits into it. You've also become more comfortable with not needing immediate clarity. You're no longer afraid of letting something develop slowly. You understand now that depth isn't built through speed, but through consistency. You've seen what happens when things move too fast without foundation. You've learned that real connection needs room to breathe. That understanding allows you to stay present without projecting a future onto every interaction. It allows you to enjoy what's happening without demanding guarantees. This doesn't make you passive, it makes you grounded. And grounding is what allows something real to take root. You may reflect on how different this feels from earlier chapters of your life, when attraction felt urgent and destabilizing, when you questioned your worth or ignored your intuition to keep something going. That version of you was doing the best they could with what they knew. But you're not there anymore. You've integrated those lessons into your daily choices. You're more selective with your energy. You invest in what feels reciprocal. You release what requires you to overextend. These choices aren't dramatic, but they're powerful. They create a stable environment for meaningful connection. As you continue moving through your days, you don't need to search for the moment or anticipate how it will happen. Your role is simpler than that. It's to remain present, to keep honoring your pace, to keep listening to your body, and to trust that what aligns with you will meet you without force. The awareness you're experiencing now isn't pulling you away from your life, it's anchoring you more deeply into it. And when recognition arrives, it won't feel like something you've finally figured out. It will feel like something that quietly made sense, exactly where you already were. There is a steady presence surrounding you now, and it's not loud or demanding, but it's firm enough that you can feel it guiding your attention inward and then gently outward again, as if reminding you that your life is not paused, not drifting, but actively aligning in ways you don't have to control. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now, especially if you've been carrying a quiet question you don't say out loud anymore, the one that wonders whether all the growth, all the patience, all the self-restraint has been leading anywhere meaningful. Don't scroll just yet. You're not standing in a waiting room, you're standing in a moment of integration. Everything you've learned about yourself, your boundaries, your values, your emotional rhythms, is no longer theoretical. It's lived. It's embodied. You respond differently now. You pause where you once rushed. You observe where you once reacted. You choose clarity where you once accepted confusion. These aren't small shifts, they're foundational. They've changed how your energy moves through the world, and energy is how alignment recognizes you. You may have noticed that the idea of meeting someone meaningful doesn't trigger anxiety anymore. It doesn't feel like pressure or a test. It feels possible without being consuming. That's because your nervous system has learned safety. You're no longer looking for connection to stabilize you, you're open to connection because you're already stable. That distinction matters. It's why the universe doesn't need to shake your life to get your attention. It can whisper. It can nudge. It can arrange moments quietly. Don't scroll, listen to this, because the place connected to this meeting is not defined by distance or novelty. It's defined by authenticity. It's where you are most yourself without effort. Where you're not managing impressions or bracing for disappointment. Where your energy is neutral, grounded, available. That's where alignment can meet you without resistance. You've been guided toward this place through habits you kept, routines you honored, choices that felt simple but were actually consistent with who you're becoming. None of that was accidental. The universe works through patterns more often than surprises. You may notice that when you're in this space, your awareness sharpens naturally. You look up instead of down. You notice people rather than passing through on autopilot. You feel present in your body. This presence is not something you force, it arrives because you're no longer distracted by internal noise. You've quieted the part of you that needed answers immediately. You've made peace with letting things reveal themselves in real time. That peace is what allows recognition to land gently rather than overwhelm you. When alignment approaches now, it doesn't come with adrenaline spikes or mental spirals. It comes with calm curiosity. A sense of ease. A subtle feeling of familiarity that doesn't demand explanation. You might experience it as a moment where time feels slightly rearranged, not stopped, not dramatic, just softened. Your breath deepens. Your shoulders relax. Your thoughts don't race ahead. These are the signals you've learned to trust. In earlier chapters of your life, attraction may have felt like intensity mixed with uncertainty, excitement mixed with self-doubt. You've outgrown that pattern. Not because you care less, but because you care more accurately. You've learned that what's real doesn't require you to abandon yourself. It doesn't require vigilance or emotional labor just to keep it alive. It allows you to stay rooted in who you are. This understanding shapes how you experience the signs around you now. Angel numbers may still appear, but they don't create urgency. They offer reassurance. 111 shows up when openness feels safe. 222 appears when patience feels supportive rather than heavy. 444 reflects the stability you've built. 555 signals change that feels coherent, not chaotic. These moments don't demand interpretation, they mirror your internal alignment. They show you that you're not out of sync with your life. You're participating in it consciously. You've also become more comfortable with not needing to define experiences immediately. You allow conversations to unfold without attaching them to outcomes. You let interest exist without turning it into expectation. This doesn't mean you're indifferent, it means you're present. Presence is the environment where genuine connection can grow. It doesn't thrive under pressure. It thrives under consistency. You've seen what happens when things move too fast without foundation. You've lived through the confusion that follows intensity without clarity. Those experiences taught you to value steadiness. Now, when something aligns, it doesn't feel like a rush. It feels like coherence. Like something fitting naturally into the life you're already living. You may notice that you're less tempted to escape your routine lately. You're finding meaning in ordinary moments. That's not stagnation, that's integration. When your inner and outer worlds align, ordinary spaces become meaningful without needing to change. This is why the meeting you're moving toward doesn't require you to go somewhere new or become someone else. It requires you to be present where you already are. You've already done the work that matters. You know how to listen to your body. You know how to honor your boundaries. You know how to step back when something feels off and how to lean in when something feels right. That knowledge lives in you now, not as a checklist, but as instinct. You don't need to prepare more. You don't need to fix anything. You don't need to rush. You're already available in the way that counts. There may still be moments when old doubts surface, when a part of you wonders if you're missing something by not acting quickly or if being careful means being closed. Those thoughts are echoes, not warnings. They come from times when you had to be vigilant to protect yourself. You can acknowledge them without letting them steer you. You know now that moving slowly doesn't mean missing out, it means building something that can actually last. You've learned that timing isn't something you can manipulate without cost. When you tried to force alignment before, it often came at the expense of your peace. Now, you're allowing timing to reveal itself through ease rather than urgency. You're noticing that things flow more smoothly when you're not pushing against yourself. This flow doesn't mean everything is predictable or effortless. It means you're responding to life with honesty instead of resistance. The awareness you feel now isn't pulling you away from your life, it's anchoring you more deeply into it. You're living with intention rather than anticipation. And when recognition arrives, it won't feel like a surprise you weren't ready for. It will feel like something that fits, quietly and completely, into the rhythm you've already created. There is a quiet but unmistakable pull moving through your life right now, and it isn't asking you to hurry or figure anything out, but it is asking you to notice how different you feel compared to who you were before. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now in a way that logic can't explain. Don't scroll just yet. You've entered a phase where things no longer feel random, even when they look ordinary on the surface. Your days may look the same, your routine may not have changed much, but you have changed, and that changes what can find you. You've learned how to sit with yourself without needing constant distraction. You've learned how to let silence exist without filling it with worry. You've learned how to trust your instincts instead of second-guessing them. Those lessons weren't easy, and they didn't come quickly, but they reshaped your energy in a way that makes alignment possible. That's why the idea of this meeting doesn't feel dramatic or overwhelming. It feels close, calm, and strangely familiar, as if something you've been preparing for internally is beginning to echo in the external world. You may notice that you're more aware of your surroundings lately, more present in places you once moved through on autopilot. A familiar environment suddenly feels slightly charged, not with anxiety, but with awareness. This isn't imagination. This is attunement. When you stop living in your head and start living in your body, the universe has a clear place to meet you. You've spent enough time healing old patterns that once pulled you toward uncertainty. You no longer mistake inconsistency for mystery or emotional distance for depth. You've learned that what's real doesn't make you feel small, confused, or on edge. It steadies you. It allows you to breathe. That's why the meeting you're moving toward doesn't arrive with chaos or urgency. It arrives through ease. Through timing that feels natural instead of forced. Through a place that's already part of your life, not something you had to search for or chase down. This place isn't important because of where it is on a map, it's important because of how you are when you're there. You're not performing. You're not bracing. You're not trying to be chosen. You're just being yourself. And authenticity is the signal alignment responds to. You might notice that when you're there, your awareness sharpens without effort. You look up more. You notice people rather than rushing past them. You feel grounded in your body instead of lost in thought. That presence didn't come from nowhere. It came from all the times you chose to slow down instead of spiraling, all the moments you trusted yourself enough to walk away from what didn't feel right, all the days you invested in your own peace instead of chasing validation. Those choices created space. And space is where recognition happens. When alignment approaches now, it doesn't trigger adrenaline or mental overthinking. It triggers calm curiosity. A subtle sense of this feels right, without needing to explain why. Your breath deepens instead of catching. Your shoulders relax instead of tightening. Your thoughts don't race ahead to outcomes or expectations. These are the signals you've learned to trust. In the past, attraction may have come with urgency and uncertainty, making you question yourself or feel like you had to act quickly to avoid losing something. You've outgrown that. Not because you care less, but because you care more clearly. You know now that what's meant to stay doesn't need to be chased. It meets you where you are. This understanding has shifted how you experience signs from the universe as well. Angel numbers may still appear. 111 when openness feels safe, 222 when patience feels supportive instead of heavy, 444 when your life feels stable and grounded, 555 when change is present but not disruptive. These aren't countdowns or instructions. They're reflections. They mirror the coherence between your inner world and the direction your life is moving. You're not being rushed. You're being aligned. You've also become more comfortable not needing immediate clarity. You allow conversations to unfold without attaching them to meaning right away. You let interest exist without turning it into expectation. This doesn't mean you're detached or indifferent. It means you're present. Presence is the environment where real connection grows. It doesn't thrive under pressure. It thrives under consistency and honesty. You've seen what happens when things move too fast without foundation. You've lived through the confusion that follows intensity without clarity. Those experiences taught you to value steadiness. Now, when something aligns, it doesn't feel like a rush. It feels like coherence. Like something fitting into the life you're already living rather than pulling you away from it. You may notice that you're less inclined to escape your routine lately. Ordinary moments feel meaningful again. That's not stagnation, that's integration. When your inner and outer worlds align, you don't need novelty to feel alive. You feel alive because you're present. This is why the meeting you're moving toward doesn't require you to go somewhere new or become someone else. It requires you to be exactly where you are, as you are. You've already done the work that matters. You know how to listen to your body. You know how to honor your boundaries. You know how to step back when something feels off and how to lean in when something feels right. That knowledge lives in you now as instinct, not effort. You don't need to prepare more. You don't need to fix anything. You don't need to rush. You're already available in the way that counts. There may still be moments when old doubts surface, when a part of you wonders if being careful means being closed or if you're missing something by not acting quickly. Those thoughts are echoes, not warnings. They come from times when you had to be vigilant to protect yourself. You can acknowledge them without letting them steer you. You know now that moving slowly doesn't mean missing out. It means building something that can actually last. You've learned that timing isn't something you can manipulate without cost. When you tried to force alignment before, it often came at the expense of your peace. Now, you're allowing timing to reveal itself through ease rather than urgency. You're noticing that things flow more smoothly when you're not pushing against yourself. This flow doesn't mean everything is predictable or effortless. It means you're responding to life with honesty instead of resistance. The awareness you feel now isn't pulling you away from your life. It's anchoring you more deeply into it. You're living with intention rather than anticipation. And when recognition arrives, it won't feel like something you finally figured out or unlocked. It will feel like something that quietly made sense, fitting naturally into the rhythm you've already created.